Hello everyone, Victor is here. Today I'd like to show you what I bought from a local art store. To start off, I'd like to show you what I started to study recently. I'd like to make illustrations, so I started reading these two books, even though they are called for cartooning. I find these books useful for illustrations. So at art supplies materials, I see that they are recommended gouache and colored pencils. You can make very colorful illustrations with the gouache and colored pencils. In this one also gouache is recommended. So for the beginning I bought this Winsor&Newton gouache tubes. I chose three colors: Prussian blue, this Alizarin Crimson, and Naples yellow, and white. I think I'll mix these colors to obtain other colors. I chose these small tubes because I tend to make my art supplies more portable and to take with me everywhere. I used in the past gouache, but they are quite bulky, as you can see in these large containers, and it's quite heavy to put in my backpack. So I'll try these 4 tubes to fit in my backpack. Other acquisitions, these 6 watercolor pencils, I think they called Inktense from Derwent. I bought Sicilian yellow, mild vermilion, cadmium orange, hooker's green, sepia ink, deep blue, and mustard. Let's see how they perform on paper. These 4 half pens watercolor from Winsor&Newton, because I'd like to complete this palette. I bought this palette and it contained only 8 colors. It is landscape set. So besides the 8 colors that are yellow, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, green, this is yellow ochre, burnt sienna, sepia, and Payne's gray. I'll add Prussian blue, this turquoise, or this is turquoise, this is hooker's green, and orange. When I bought this palette, the initial colors also were packaged like this, so they need to be unboxed and put like this. But at the beginning they fall quite easily, as you can see. So to fix them, I used double tape like this to glue them on the bottom. Another item, I bought this graphite stick. This is woodless graphite stick, 9B. It is very soft. You can sharpen it and it's quite light. Another item is this sharpener, quite heavy. It's M and R. It means you can sharpen colored pencil that are thicker, and regular pencils, graphite pencils that are thinner. It seems that I'm a collector of this sharpener. I have other shapes of sharpener, yet I liked the shape of this one. What I can advise about sharpeners, they should be metallic ones, like this, wall of this, and not plastic like this, because some of pencils break in such plastic sharpener, so I advise to use metallic ones. So let's see how this perform on paper. I'll use this watercolor sketchbook made from Canson paper, 200 GSM. I start with gouache. I'll put a bit directly on paper. This yellow. And I'll use this water brush to see how. So if you add more water, it acts like watercolor. It spreads nice. I like the texture and how it spreads on paper. The color is opaque, as you can see. What is expected from gouache. Let's see the red one, Alizarin Crimson. I'll put less because it's very intense, this color. On the brush it was a bit of yellow, so it turns in orange mixed with yellow. Again, nice. If I squeeze more water, it turns in, it has the effect of watercolor, which is nice. You can use them as watercolors and gouache at the same time. And the last one, this Prussian blue. Again, it's very intense, very dark color. I chose these dark colors because I can lighten them with white color. Again, very dark, rich color. They mix well, still wet. It's like watercolor. They mix wet on wet. Nice colors. I'm satisfied at first glance, so I'll use them. Now let's start with this watercolor pencils to see. We can try them directly on a wet surface. Interesting. Very intense colors. Or you can add textures and details with this pencils. Now let's try to make some swatches of them. And to add water to see how they perform. The colors for these types of pencils, the names of them are quite not standard. They resembles different materials, I think. Besides deep blue, hooker's green, Sicilian yellow, never heard of this one, mustard, it's like burnt sienna, this mid vermilion, quite deep red, sepia ink, and cadmium orange. So let's see how they perform. Let's clean a bit the brush, it got muddy. You can use tissue to clean the water brush. So let's see how they perform. Indeed, they are very intense compared to other colored pencils for watercolor. I intend to use them also as colored pencils alone. Indeed, very intense. Yeah, as you can see, they are very intense. Also, you can draw with them on top of wet surface to make details and interesting shapes. And the graphite stick, yeah, it's nice. You can use them lightly to make light marks, or you can press harder and you'll have a darker tone. So I'm satisfied with these purchases for today. I'll see how they perform in on location when I'll use them, to see how convenient they are. Thank you for watching. Bye.